I know it's been wonderful to see how God has led International Russian Radio and Television through the years, but since 2003, there's been a dramatic shift and change in our ministry. Could you explain what's happened to IRTV through these years?
You know, in 2003, we came to a point where we started to ask ourselves serious questions, and we started to ask the churches on the ground in Russia, in the big cities, serious questions about how we were doing, how we were faring with the Great Commission. We said, if Jesus really meant what he said when he said, "Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to all, to all peoples and all nations," how are we doing? How are we faring in these cities? We asked the churches, how many people, out of 1 million people in the city, how many are you reaching? How many visit your churches, and how many people come in contact with your ministries in the course of 1 year? Some of the churches says, well, we have maybe 10, 20, maybe 30, 40 non-Christians would visit our church services during the course of a year. Some churches says, well, maybe 100. And in the very best cases, in the biggest cities, some of the dynamic churches would say, well, maybe 1,000 people. We asked the question, well, what about the 995,000 other people who never come in touch with the church? Did Jesus not mean them as well? And so the churches and the pastors will say, yeah, we have a problem here. Where we said, okay, let's get together, let's sit beside a table, let's pray. In a spirit of prayer, let's devise a strategy to reach the 1 million residents of this city over a course of 30 days, effectively, so that they will know what Jesus Christ, what God's Son, Jesus Christ, is offering them. That's how this whole thing started. We utilized all the media for 30 days. That is primetime television, secular TV, radio, billboards, mega screens, outside mega screens, public transport system, the outside of buses, newspapers, flyers into homes, everything we could get our hands on. We did it for 30 days to impact the city. It was saturation. All the advertising that takes place over the course of 30 days has a call-in number.
Есть выход из пустоты. Ощути силу перемен. Позвони и получи книгу в подарок.
So we direct all the traffic to a call center, and we receive tens of thousands of telephone calls.
Добрый вечер. Вы позвонили на горячую линию проекта «Ощути силу перемен». Меня зовут Лариса. Как вас зовут? Очень приятно, Зоя Александровна. Сколько вам лет?
Tens of thousands of families that are struggling with problems that are very real. Breakup of the family, 4 million children on the streets, meaning 4 million homes, at least according to official statistics, that are just broken, where the children are not even at home. And we think the real figure is probably double, if not triple that. There's a huge problem in Russia. 40% of the male population struggling with alcohol. And God comes into this picture saying, I will give you the power to change through my Son, Jesus Christ. Today, as we sit here, this book, which is really, God gives you the power to change. It's been printed in up to about 10 languages now, but the main language, of course, is Russian. We have an order for 300,000 books as we sit here. We'll have over 1 million books in print and distributed by the time, many of the people see this program.
This is a very unique approach to the presentation of the gospel. What part does the local church play in the process when we go into a city?
Massive. It's massive. They mobilize hundreds and hundreds of people. We'll have up to 1,000 people in some of the cities mobilized, if it's a big city, doing the groundwork. They hand deliver these books, to the people that have called. You have thousands and thousands of telephone calls. And they also minister one-on-one to people on the streets as well. They have special events. We're there to help them orchestrate the media. Of course, we do a lot of the financing because it's expensive stuff. But they are basically the people on the ground. We wouldn't be doing anything on the ground without the local churches. That's how important we consider the local church to be in this whole picture. We're out there not to make this ministry known, saying that IRTV is doing something.
Yes.
We're out there to reinforce, to uplift, and to strengthen the local church and to make sure it gets its job done. We have a beautiful example from Kiev. One of the churches involved in the Kiev campaign reported to us that they had 3,000 people who made decisions for Jesus Christ in their church in the past year. Many more visited. 3,000 of those made decisions. 800 of them have been baptized last year in this one church. And that's what we want to see. We want to see that kind of fruit coming in. And I believe it pleases the Lord to see that. And without the church on the ground there, and without partners here, watching this program, it's not going to happen.
Yes.
That's why we ask people to join hands with us.
Yes.
Be a part of it.